Good day, learners. Welcome. Good morning. You're all welcome to take a seat. Today, we're just going to do first a recap on your last lesson, which we were learning about the changes of your body and the physical changes that have occurred from the time that you have entered from being just a little girl or a little boy into your teenagehood and all the changes that have occurred. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to get a bit of your understanding for the next few minutes, and then we're going to start with our topic for the day. Thank you so much. I'm wondering, let's just see. I'm randomly going to pick a few people who are just going to tell me a little bit about what understanding you have of the changes in a boy and the changes in a girl, in their physical changes as they approach from moving from one phase into another, especially into your teenage phase. Okay. Thank you, learners. Thank you for your feedback. We are now going to continue into our lesson today, and we have a wonderful topic that we're going to be discussing, and that is about substance abuse. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to show you a short clip, but before we go into that, I just want to discuss the social factors that are associated with substance abuse, okay, that contribute towards substance abuse, and what influences the media has on community in terms of this, okay. We all know and we all can identify some sorts of substance abuses. I'm going to just ask you in general just to give me your opinion of what you think substance abuse is and any examples. Okay. Yes, you're welcome to. Yes, that's correct. One substance abuse is drugs. Can you give me an example of a drug? Yes, there's things like dacha, mandrax, what else? Cocaine, heroin, cough mixture. Thank you. Thank you so much for those replies. What other forms of substance abuse do you think there is? Yes, that's true. There's financial abuse in terms of this alcohol abuse, right? There's abuse of medication. Okay, so now we're going to look into a whole lot of forms in terms of that, all right? Our aims and our objectives of this lesson today, all right, is that we are going to focus, apart from a few other things, on how social factors contribute to the abuse of substances and how it is influenced by the media. All right, what role does the media play? What role does TikTok play? What role does Instagram play, Facebook, in terms of introducing and saying that it's okay? When we look at movies, we can see that in some of the movies, you'll find that a lot of people, once they come back from work, are allowed to drink. Or when they're feeling stressed, you'll find them going to go and pour a glass of wine, or take some sort of strong stuff, whatever that may be, to relax. And so that, in a way, gives you this idea that that's okay. To come home every day and to have a drink, and that is the form of relaxation that you should do, when there are other healthy manners in which you could do relaxing, like exercise, going to the gym, meditating. There are other forms, but if we just look at the media and you watch some of those movies, you must just watch closely and see what happens when most mums and dads get back from work. In some instances, you'll see in some school setting movies where the kids constantly would maybe have a cigarette in terms of relaxing, or engage in parties where there's a lot of alcohol abuse, and then obviously the drug abuse come into that. Sometimes you even find some movies dictate how children are selling certain tablets or medications to children for them to be able to study, or for them to be able to concentrate in the classroom environment. Right, another set, one of our objectives is, what is the right behavior to stop or to avoid the abuse of substances, and how do you say no? How do you improve your decision making skills? And so that is what we're going to learn today, is how do you get to that place where you have an ability to be able to say no, where you know what's right from wrong, and you know the line to draw in terms of improving yourself. Another one of our objectives is, what the long-term and the short-term consequences are of substance abuse, and how crime and violence and educational outcomes are linked to substance abuse. Okay, in the end of it, we're going to conclude with a rehabilitation, and where you could get help and support and care. And rehabilitation is not only just for those who are addicted to some sort of substance, it also acts as a support for those who are not. It helps you in terms of having an understanding, and giving you the strength to be able to say no. We call it, when somebody is in recovery, they say that you're always going to be in recovery, all right? Especially if you're coming from having had a substance abuse, but or being addicted to something, whatever that may be. You could be addicted to social media. You could be addicted to PlayStation. So these types of groups don't only just teach you about specifically substance abuse, but it teaches you how to live life in a better way. So it is nice to know, and nice to know where you could get care from, and nice to know where you could get good advice from, if in case you're ever faced with a situation like this, that puts you in a situation where you're having now to say no. So what we're going to do next is, I'm going to show you the short YouTube video that just gives an outline in terms of the substances and the different types of substances that there are that could be linked to substance abuse. And then we are going to go into a discussion in terms of our objectives for this lesson today. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we are going to play the clip. Yes, if you don't mind just switching off the lights for a bit, and class, here we go. All right, now after watching that short video, we're going to just look at the influence that media has, as I've already just touched on it a little bit. We live in a society that has many different beliefs and cultures. There are many things that affect the way that we live at the moment. Social factors such as religion and friends from the community where we live, and our education and our families. There's a direct link between the social factors and the substance abuse. Okay, what we find in many of these situations is that we find that a lot of behavior is learned from the community that we're in. All right, there's a prescription of drugs such as medication, alcohol, products made from tobacco, and illegal drugs cause changes in your body and your behavior or your feeling. All right, and you find that if you have access to these things, and normally it is from the communities, and sometimes some children who are of a younger age decide to engage themselves in having friends who are of an older age who are allowed to buy certain prescriptions. Like before they removed cough mixture with alcohol off the shelves, children used to freely, there were those who had ID books who were 18 the children would pay to go into the chemist to go and purchase them, and to bring it out for them then to engage in. So you can see how in the community sometimes the relationships and the friendship relationships that we have are no good. Thank you, class. For now, we are just going to pause there. We will continue further a little bit later, and we will move to using of substance abuse and what it leads to.